It was a rainy evening in Oxford, the streets glistening under amber streetlights. I stood outside a small cafe, staring at the woman I once trusted more than anyone, Clara Bennett. Her laughter echoed through the rain, bright and carefree, completely oblivious to the storm she had caused in my life. Just hours ago, I had discovered the truth. Every promise she had made, every whispered reassurance had been a lie. She had betrayed me in the cruelest way possible, exposing secrets I had shared in confidence and manipulating situations to ruin my reputation at work. My heart pounded, not with fear, but with a simmering, controlled anger. The betrayal wasn't just emotional, it had professional consequences too. Documents I had entrusted to her were leaked, projects sabotaged, colleagues misled. The cafe's warmth and chatter mocked me as I recalled every moment I had believed in her. I had spent years building trust, nurturing what I thought was a partnership, only to have it shattered in an instant. As Clara waved at an acquaintance inside, completely unaware of my presence, I felt a cold clarity settle over me. This wasn't the time for confrontation. Not yet. Revenge required precision, patience, and the perfect moment. The storm outside mirrored the turmoil inside me, and I knew that when the time came, she would regret ever thinking forgiveness was an option. Tonight marked the beginning of a plan that would change everything. My name is Daniel Harris, and I had always believed in honesty and loyalty. Clara Bennett, my colleague and once close friend, was everything I trusted in the cutthroat world of finance. She had a sharp mind, a charming smile, and a way of convincing everyone that she was sincere. Together, we had worked on high-profile projects at our London-based firm, and I had shared both professional ambitions and personal thoughts with her. In my eyes, she was more than a colleague. She was a confidant. But the truth was far darker. Clara had her own agenda, one fueled by envy and greed. She had been undermining me subtly for months, misplacing critical documents, altering reports to make me look incompetent, and whispering lies to clients about my work ethic. James, our mutual friend and co-worker, had been unknowingly complicit, spreading rumors she carefully planted. It was a perfect storm of betrayal, and I had been blind to it all. Even outside the office, Clara's charm masked a manipulative streak. Social events, team outings, and networking dinners were stages where she played the perfect friend while discreetly plotting my downfall. Every interaction now seemed tainted, every memory a warning I had ignored. My anger was tempered by calculation. I needed a plan to not just retaliate, but to ensure that her deceit would be exposed in a way that left no room for denial. I began observing Clara more closely, studying her habits, her routines, and the way she subtly manipulated others. She believed she was untouchable, that her lies were invisible. But every carefully orchestrated deception leaves traces, and I was determined to follow them. I started documenting everything: emails, messages, notes, anything that could prove her betrayal beyond doubt. Each discovery fueled my resolve, and the anger simmered, controlled but intense. At the office, Clara continued her facade. She smiled at clients, offered friendly advice to colleagues, and laughed at inside jokes while I remained the quiet observer. I learned how she leaked information, how she twisted conversations to her advantage, and even how she convinced James to question my competency. Every move she made, I catalogued, preparing for the perfect moment. Outside work, I sharpened my strategy. I contacted industry insiders, anonymously highlighting discrepancies and showcasing my own contributions in ways she could never contest. I wasn't acting impulsively. This was precision work. My revenge needed to be undeniable, surgical in its impact, and irreversible. I couldn't allow her the satisfaction of thinking she had outsmarted me. The tension built with every day. The more I uncovered, the more audacious her lies appeared and the clearer my path became. I was ready to strike, but patience was key. One wrong move, and my plan would crumble. My time would come, and when it did, Clara would realize that betrayal has consequences far worse than she ever imagined. Don't forget to subscribe and like the channel for more interesting stories. The pressure mounted as Clara's influence grew. She secured a lead role on a major client pitch, Harrington & Co.'s rebrand, timed perfectly during the firm's annual review. She basked in praise, her confidence swelling while I remained composed, cataloguing every maneuver. I widened my net, copies of her altered reports, email threads with forged comments, and timestamps proving she had edited client files after hours. I reached out quietly to a senior partner I trusted, Olivia, sliding her a sealed folder with the clean evidence and a simple note. "Look closely." Olivia's eyebrow rose, then dropped. She promised to watch. Clara began to sense a shift. Small slights appeared, subtle questions in meetings about her numbers, a partner hesitating before approving her calls. Her veneer started to crack, and she grew reckless. One evening, drunk on praise after a networking event in Shoreditch, she boasted to James that no one would ever find her trail. James laughed, pride and fear tangled together, and I recorded the conversation through a discreet app on my phone. The tape was brittle proof of arrogance. I planted more seeds, anonymous emails, carefully placed doubts, and a whisper campaign that directed attention to inconsistencies only I had the patience to assemble. Every move was surgical, designed to make the house of cards wobble, but not collapse until the exact moment I chose. The tension tightened like a wire, each day bringing Clara closer to exposure, each misstep making the eventual reveal more devastating. I practiced my composure in mirrors, rehearsed words I would never need to shout, and waited. Remember to subscribe and like the channel for more great stories like this. The day of the firm's quarterly board meeting arrived, a storm brewing beneath the polished floors of the conference room. Clara strutted in, brimming with confidence, ready to present her work and claim accolades she thought were hers alone. I stayed calm, seated quietly at the back, a folder of meticulously organized evidence in front of me. When her slides began to roll, I watched her pride grow, unaware that every claim she made was about to unravel. As she spoke, I submitted the folder to the board digitally, ensuring it reached their screens simultaneously. Emails, altered reports, falsified notes, and recordings, all pointed unmistakably to her deception. Gasps spread through the room. Clara froze, realizing too late that every lie she had spun, every betrayal she had committed, was now laid bare for scrutiny. She tried to explain, to redirect blame, but the evidence was irrefutable. Senior partners exchanged looks, their trust shattered in moments. Then came the final strike. I revealed the recordings of her boasting to James, proving intent, arrogance, and manipulation. The humiliation was immediate and complete. Her promotions were revoked, client relationships frozen, and her professional reputation shattered. The people who once laughed at me now watched helplessly as Clara faced consequences for every deceitful move. I remained composed, a quiet victor. My revenge wasn't violent, it was precise, unstoppable, and irreversible. Clara's reign of manipulation was over, and the lesson was clear. Betrayal has a price, and patience wields power stronger than rage. In the days that followed, the office hummed with whispers of what had transpired. Clara Bennett avoided every eye contact, her confidence eroded, her reputation tarnished beyond repair. Colleagues who had once feared her now approached me with cautious respect, recognizing the truth I had painstakingly revealed. It wasn't about revenge for me anymore, it was about justice and reclaiming control over a life momentarily derailed by deceit. I reflected on the path I had taken, the patience required to meticulously gather evidence, and the restraint needed to wait for the perfect moment. It had been painful, watching her manipulate and betray, but the outcome proved that careful strategy triumphs over impulsive retaliation. My professional standing was restored, and my contributions finally acknowledged. Invitations to lead new projects and collaborations arrived steadily, affirming my competence and resilience. Yet, the greatest victory was personal. I had learned to trust my instincts, to value loyalty above charm, and to recognize that true strength comes from measured action rather than explosive reaction. The sting of betrayal had transformed into a lesson in vigilance and empowerment. As I walked past the office window one evening, watching the city lights reflect on the Thames, I felt a calm satisfaction. The story of betrayal, patience, and ultimate justice had reached its conclusion, but its lessons lingered. Which part of this story shocked you the most or inspired you? Comment below with your thoughts and suggestions. I want to know which moments of deception, patience, and triumph resonated with you the most.